What's good, YouTube? Dorsey Made Gaming. And real quick, y'all, I actually happened to capture a live stream that was on Mr. Golden. Let me see. Mr. Golden Sports on Twitch. Um, he was doing a live stream with Rex Dickerson. If you don't know who Rex Dickerson is, he is the creative director for Madden. And he's doing a live stream. He was doing a live stream, and so I captured it on the YouTube gaming app on my phone, uploaded it to the channel, but some reason it didn't upload to the regular YouTube channel, upload to the YouTube gaming channel, so I'm re-uploading it to the regular YouTube channel. Now, bear in mind that and my hair is a mess, I understand that. Bear in mind that I was hitting the mute button because my wife walked in the room talking. I thought it would just mute the audio like me talking, but it actually muted some of the audio from the interview. But I didn't miss any of the great details. And at the end, you'll see that I'll actually go over and do a recap of basically the highlights from that. So when you hear that muted part, don't think anything's wrong with the video. It'll cut back on. You'll begin to hear the audio again. But posting that for y'all's enjoyment, man, to update y'all on what's going on. It's not on Twitch right now, but he is going to repost it live tomorrow, he said. So just stay tuned for that. If you want to watch the entire video in its entirety, I'll probably go and watch it because I didn't catch it at the beginning, and I'm pretty sure there's some stuff that I may have missed. So I'll be tuning into that tomorrow as well. But that's it, y'all. So enjoy it. The audio quality ain't that good as well, so just bear with me. But, you know, be thankful that we're getting those news. So don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, don't forget to subscribe. Till next time, and God bless.
Be part of the game. And competitive game style allows us to reduce that significantly. Reduce things like dropped interceptions. Reduce things like, quarterback overthrowing. The next big piece of this whole thing outside of play styles is something we call legacy. So what legacy is as I pay attention to the community and as we ask these Twitter polls about what do you want fixed or what's broken or what do you want to see addressed next year, what happens every year is we come up with this list, and then inevitably the new features come in, the executives come in and say we want this, this, and this, and then we have no people left to work on those legacy things. Because the legacy things often come across as like, cleaning up the crap underneath your refrigerator. Everybody knows there's dirty nastiness under there, but nobody gets excited about cleaning it. However, once you clean that thing up and it's that dirty under the fridge thing you've been looking at for the last 6 months, you're like, wow, that makes a really big difference now that it's gone. And so what we've done this year is we've gone through about 35 or 40 of the top legacy issues in Madden. Everything from a slower player chases down a faster player from behind to, a man coverage doesn't cover corner routes ever. I could go on and on. Purples don't play purples. Hard flats get sucked out from the flat. Over and over and over, these lists of recurring themes. We've managed to fix almost all of them this year because we made it a priority. And so we ripped through these top 20 legacy issues, and all of a sudden, you have a game that's playing very differently on your hands. And the things that represented key frustration points for you guys in years past are no longer frustration points. And yes, we also fixed juking. It's awesome in 18.
Okay, was there any idea that you thought of coming into Madden 17 what's an idea that you liked that didn't put it in the game? Like, were there any type of things that you wanted in the game that just got left out?
Yeah, so you saw that little bit at the end of the trailer?
Yes, I did.
So I'm not going to talk about it, but let's just say that there were alternate approaches to that thing, some ideas, and one of those ideas was one of the things that I was pitching, and ultimately we had to put that idea on hold because what we ended up building became so big that we didn't necessarily have enough resources or time to do the other thing justice. But luckily what that means is that I've had all of this year to continue to design it, iterate on it, advance it, and now as we go into the creative for Madden 19, which will start happening the next couple months, I have this thing completely spec'd out, designed, very clear vision for what it is. So I'm actually happy that I got the extra year to work on it.
Speaking of yearly, is it difficult coming from the games that you worked on, right? That it wasn't necessarily like a yearly thing, to where Madden, it's coming every single year. So at some point, you have to stop working. Well, not stop working, but at some point, your main priority comes on the next year's game when the previous game is still in season? Does that not get difficult at all? Because I'm sure you started working on Madden 18, I don't know, maybe release handling things every single year?
Yeah, it's really hard because essentially the time when everybody needs the creative built is the time we're finaling, this year's game, which is also the business. And don't forget, I come from first-person shooters where you have 3 or 4 years or more to build a game. And so what you do is you go through sort of 2 years of working normal hours, and then you go 8 or 10 months of working crunch as you put your game through alpha. Now, Madden is different. Madden, every year from, I'd say, like the beginning of March, late February, all the way through the end of July, this team is crunching. We're working extra. It happens every single year. And so during those time periods, you really don't see your children. So the hardest part of it is really just working those hours annually. But, planning the creative, that's part of my job, is making sure that while the rest of the team is working on shutting down 18, I have the creative on stock and ready to go for 19, and I'm getting everyone aligned on it.
See, that stuff, you see, if you have the chat open, a lot of people are, giving the Bible thump that, you're not going seeing your children. That's stuff that a lot of people don't know, is that you're out there working so many hours to try and, get this game out to us, that you're working, like you said, you're only able to see your kids on the weekends and stuff like that. So stuff like that is definitely good to know. Now, I would like to see it. Do you have any questions for me as the consumer, as the player, as a voice in the community? Do you have any questions?
Yeah, I guess I have one big one. I've been told that we've invited you down for Game Changers and Community Weeks 7, 8, 9 times, and you've turned us down. Now, I'd hate to believe that you were disrespecting me by turning down my invitation of a paid trip to Orlando, with meals, by the way, to sit down, play the game, give us feedback, make sure that the game meets the expectations of the Golden Sports community. I'd hate to believe that that was the case, because Country Girl came on my first invitation.
Oh, yeah, she yelled at me.
So
she yelled at me yesterday.
You've said no 9 times. It's kind of like, how many times are you going to ask a girl out before you realize you're just barking up the wrong tree? So my question for you is, who in God's name do I have to sleep with to get you to come down here and do an event?
The times that were offered were during the school year, though, and I'm the only one who brings my son to school and picks him up. So there's no way for me to situate the times that were asked. So I had to decline. You want to talk about a dream come true? It's something that, believe me, that's why like people don't understand.
So there's a capture event this summer for top YouTubers and streamers. I will get you the dates. I will even work with you to fly your son down here with you if you so choose. But we need to make this happen. You need to stop coming up with these excuses. You don't see me making excuses for Madden 17. I'm owning it. You need to own it.
We know who to blame, Rex. We know it's Oldenburg's fault. We know
it's not Oldenburg's fault. It's your fault.
It's Oldenburg's fault, man. They not worried about the people that run. What about the people that run the ball all day, man? Oldenburg is just gonna sit there and just say, "Oh no, just let him block straight." For the community. That mean Oldenburg don't know what he's doing. I need to replace Oldenburg.
I have something else I want to say to you, though. It's not a question. It's just something I really wanted to say to you for quite some time. Now, I your son and stuff. I enjoy your entertainment. I enjoy your channel. But it wasn't until I started talking to some guys in the community till I realized what an actual kind of a human being you are. So I was talking to IMAV recently, and I asked him, I said, IMAV, you're a huge YouTuber, one of the biggest in the Madden community. How'd you get your start? Who's your mentor? Guess what he said? He said, Mr. Golden Sports was my mentor. He taught me everything I know, and he really got me passionate about it. And then I was sitting down with a young competitive player whose skill I appreciated, and I really wanted to give him a shot with us. His name is T-Raw. And I said, how'd you really get into this?
Michael. I felt like I made it in EA when he made it. I'm so damn happy he made it.
Guess what he said? He said, Mr. Golden Sports' channel is really what got me excited and got me interested, and he really helped me grow my channel. So, what I think is interesting and what I think needs to be pointed out here is on top of being a community leader and a content creator for Madden, what I really do appreciate is how you've been a mentor and a guide for some of the young kids coming up and trying to build their channels out. Country Girl is another one who says that she emulates a lot of what she does after your channel. And I really personally appreciate how much you've done for the Madden community, not only in terms of your content, but in terms of what you've done to bring up these young streamers and YouTubers. So from me to you, I just want to say thank you, and we really appreciate it.
I definitely means a lot, man. Thank you. There's been a lot of, like, I try to get to my viewers a lot that school is the most important thing in there, and you know, because most of our people that watch us are younger. You know, we definitely have some older people that watch us, but for the most part, you know, they're younger. So I try to preach education is, you know, very important, because you never want to go to work hating your job. Like, I see my mother, she's in that situation. She works very hard. She, you know, she doesn't make much, but you know, when you don't have any type of resume, you got to do whatever it is you can for money. And I'm blessed to be doing something that I love and I'm passionate about. You know, I'm able to wake up every single day and just turn on a stream or make a video and play the game that, you know, I absolutely love. More than what you make. 3-year contract right now. What do you say to them 2K folks, Rex? Talk to me, Rex. What do you tell them?
I'm not a basketball guy.
You tell them no, right? You sticking with us, right? You're not going anywhere, right?
No, Madden's my dream job, dude. I wouldn't be happy, I don't think, anywhere else, or certainly as happy. This is really the game that I've always wanted to work on, and I still have a lot of work left to do here. A lot of things I want to get to, a lot of big ideas I want to champion, so I have no interest in leaving right now.
That is exactly what it is we like to hear, man. And your mama mentioned something. Before you, do you know who the creative director was before you?
Yeah, it was Ian Cummings.
Ian Cummings. He had said that Ian Cummings made a Madden 11. I personally don't remember Madden 11, but your mama was talking about how it was like one of the best Maddens. It was that was maybe it's because it was his personal best, but he said Ian Cummings out of nowhere quit mid Madden 12, and he had said that he had just went like out of nowhere. Like Madden 11 was great, then he said Madden 12 went downhill, and he had mentioned that he says that he's unable to speak about it because of like he's like scared to talk of Madden because of like I don't know the exact words, stuff like that, but he said the man can't even talk about Madden. Do you know anything about that? About him just leaving mid-game or anything like that?
Yeah, it wasn't, it probably wasn't like as nefarious as it might sound. What happened is that, you know, after right around that time, around Madden 11, Madden 12, Cam Weber was brought in. And, you know, sort of what happens is when they bring in a new EP, an executive producer, that kind of the guy who runs each franchise at EA, the EP will shake things up and he will bring in a lot of his own guys, which is what Cam did. And so Cam had a meeting with Ian, and Ian had sort of, you know, taken the brunt of a lot of community anger and rage, and I think Ian was ready for a change and just to get away from the Madden community. And Cam also felt like he wanted some fresh blood in here. And he, one of the first things Cam did is he hired Kobe Launchbaugh, who was the guy who was designing, you know, MUT 13 through MUT 16. And then with a producer here, a guy named Tom Litchke. And then myself, who he brought in to lead his gameplay team. And so Cam brought his bunch of his own creative hires with him, and that's one of the reasons why Ian decided to move on.
And so if he did not move on, you potentially would not have been in the position you're in, correct?
Potentially. I think, you know, when Cam interviewed me, part of it was pitching a vision for gameplay in Madden. And so I'd like to think that if that vision that I pitched was strong enough to get me the job, it would have been strong enough to probably have, I wouldn't say beaten whatever Ian was wanting to do, but I think I was more...
No, tell like it is, Rex. Say your ideas were better.
You know,
say you had better ideas,
I should
Rex.
say this. It was probably more aligned with the direction Cam wanted to go with the game. But I will say this to Ian's credit. I feel like I got a game when I started here that had a really strong base. I know a lot of people will disagree and say like 13 was the worst year and stuff like that, or 12 was the worst year. But for me, I felt like I had a really strong foundation to work with. And believe me, having worked here for 6 years, I certainly understand a lot of the frustrations that Ian went through. It's not an easy job by any stretch of the imagination. And if you guys know all the intricacies of dealing with marketing, executive pressure, and sort of business objectives and stuff like that often get in the way of what you want to do and what you want to do for the players, you would understand that it's a very difficult, stressful job.
So back then, when you're getting interviewed, right, you said that you gave your vision for what you wanted the game to become. Do you remember what you told that man? What was your vision? What was your vision when he said, when he asked you, what can you do to help us increase this game?
So my vision was actually authentic football simulation. It included a lot of stuff about like adding things that you see in the NFL that aren't currently in the game. Things like gang tackles, things like, different pass trajectories, pass leading, stuff like that. It's always been about like whenever Madden doesn't meet our expectations of a representation of what I see on Sunday, that's what I wanted to attack. A lot of it also was about cleaning stuff up. I said like a lot of the things in Madden are sort of, they're not attractive things. You don't want to put them on the back of the box. You never want to go out and sell them. But it's like ugly stuff that has to get cleaned up. It's kind of like mopping the floor. Nobody wants to do it. You don't want to spend any money on it, but you know it has to get done. And there was a lot of mopping the floor type tasks that I said, look, I mean, none of this stuff is exciting. None of this stuff is going to get everyone all jazzed, but it's stuff that's got to get done. And I'm the kind of guy that's not afraid to clean up shit.
Gotcha. Now, I think we both can mutually agree that this game will be better without Oldenburg, right? Come on, Rex, just say it. Just say it.
I don't think you understand.
I haven't had a good strong power in 11 weeks, Rex. All I do is run the ball. I don't know how to throw dots. I'm not a problem. I'm not that good. I just run.
I think all your frustration from what I've heard should be levied at Jake Stein and Mutt. You leave my boy Clint alone.
Clint is the reason why I can't get any yards on a dive because they're in dollar and I can't. I'm getting block shitted.
Not in 18, you won't.
You know what's gonna happen, Rex? You know what? You know what I want? And you can tell him. I said, whenever I go out there, I don't believe this man can block, Rex. I will line up in front of Clint and I will swim move him 5 times in a row. I will swim move him 5 times. You can tell him. I said, he can't block me, Rex.
He benches 375 pounds.
He can't bench me. I'm the Tasmanian devil. I'm spinning all over the place.
You haven't seen a weight room in 25 years.
That's true, but I am a month veteran. I know all the moves how to get past his blocking. This is Oldenburg blocking. I know how to get by him. Swim moves. This man don't know how to block.
I forgot to tell you we nerfed the user pass rush on competitive style.
That's not. But you enjoyed it. You're one of the leaders.
I know, but if you're playing on competitive, you can't be playing on the D line.
Now, when you say competitive, that's like a completely different mode, correct?
Correct.
So you would have to like log into like competitive mode, and then there's a simulation mode.
Correct.
See, that's something that's amazing because, again, that is going to let the simulation players, when they think they know what they're doing, they're going to come out to those competitive streets and get Goomba stomped. Because the type of things are going to be different. Now, I'm sure you get a lot of mutt questions, right? A lot of people they see your name, they don't even know what's going on. They just see a lot of people, from myself to Joe to Siu to T-Raw to IMAV, like everybody. They see us engaging in conversations with you, so a lot of people they get bad pack luck and they'll sit there and add you for no reason. What do you have anything to do with Mutt at all?
More and more this year. I think the previous years I wasn't really that focused on it, but last year especially I started paying a lot more attention. I started playing it a lot more the last 2 years. So I actually meet now pretty consistently every week with 2 of the designers on Mutt, Jake Stein, and another guy named Ben Frost. You guys probably don't know yet. The main producer is a guy named Tom Litchke. I meet with him once a week. And my main purpose now is starting to feed him information that I'm getting off social media, as well as strategizing with him. So he starts explaining to me like the business considerations of things. So when I go to him and talk to him about stuff that you and Toke are talking about, He'll explain to me the business impact and why they made that decision. I'll sort of take the community's position, and we'll debate and argue, and we'll talk things through. So I have more influence with those guys than I've ever had before, but I'm still not, like, I wouldn't call myself creative director of MUT by any stretch of the imagination.
Okay. I've seen you tweet out, and this made me extremely excited. You had a quote that said, Madden 18 is the year of the user.
Yeah.
As much as you're able to, what does that mean?
It means a lot of things. For me personally, when I play competitive style, I feel all the time like the random is my fault. And when I say the random, I mean like I threw a pick, my fault. Like I threw a read to a position where a defender was in place. I don't feel the classic like he was wide open, I threw it to him, randomly dice rolled an overthrow, and it sailed to the safety, so I got a pick. There's a big difference when you feel like almost all the outcomes are either your mistakes or your skill that caused them versus a random dice roll that caused them. It kind of fundamentally changes the way you feel about the game. So it's interesting because I've almost started to enjoy competitive more because you never feel like you're not in control of your outcomes. And that's a big change for Madden.
Because you only get to control one person. And you have to rely on 10 other people to do what it is that they're supposed to do and stuff like that. So usering ability is definitely a very big thing. But
yeah, I'll say this too, like we brought back the juke. We've done a lot of work on...
Whose idea was that to get rid of it? Don't lie. Was it Oldenburg?
We didn't get rid of it.
It was Oldenburg. What? Rex,
I'm responsible for everything that happens in gameplay. So you don't pin that on Oldenburg, you pin it on me.
There is no use for an elusive back in this year. It's highly unlikely a juke works where you can just get Ricky Williams and just run folks over. And I actually like that because previous, like trucking was really not, like there was no need to get a trucking guy when you could double juke anybody. So this year,
the moment I knew there was a problem was when I was watching tournament games and high-level players were taking dives rather than get tackled. And that's when I knew we had done something terribly wrong. So we did focus on it. The jukes are crispy now. They're awesome. We've done a lot of other things too. Like, for example, this is probably a leak, but you can't hold Y the entire time on defense anymore.
Yeah, T-Raw had touched upon that.
So there's a timing
made me a little sad, man, because I got used to just holding Y, running around, and if it's thrown in my vicinity, my guy reacts. So
yeah, we're trying to make skill mechanics everywhere and sort of make timing more of a factor and user input more of a factor. The highlight coverage thing that we've talked about, what that does is it helps you understand what your job is in pass coverage. So you select a linebacker, it's going to show you connecting lines to which receivers you're supposed to be covering. And what that does is it helps people who feel like they could never play secondary or stuck on the D-line, people like me, can now all of a sudden feel comfortable playing in the secondary and playing hook zones because these lines are helping explain to them who to cover. And that's just another reason why you feel more like the user because finally I'm able to control the middle of the field instead of just the pass rush.
Okay, so what about as far as like attributes and gameplay and stuff like that? Why is it that if I have somebody who is faster and I have stamina, will get caught from behind with somebody who's slower and he's out of stamina? Why does that happen?
Would you forgive me if I didn't go into the details but just told you that we fixed it?
So if I forgive you. So if somebody has 91 speed, I shouldn't get caught from somebody with 83 speed, correct? In the open field.
It's fixed.
So that is no longer happening.
Nope.
So would you say, honestly, give your honest opinion, because you said 17, you felt good about it, but there was some issues and stuff like that. It's still, in my opinion, better than 16. 16 was better than 15. It's just my honest opinion. But would you say this Madden, this year, is this your pride and joy, Rex? This your baby? You absolutely love what you and your team put into this game? My favorite Madden of all time is the one with Vince Young on the cover. That's my favorite all-time Madden. I love how they had. I mean, they brought it back, but they had like the vision cone. They had the different abilities and stuff like that. Like that was just my all-time favorite Madden. Would you say 18 is this your favorite one? Talk to me, Rex.
favorite, but there are certain parts of it that I think came out great, and other parts of it that I'm like maybe not as high on. So I think gameplay-wise, I'm really satisfied, mainly because competitive and arcade really worked out really well. And then there's a mode story, obviously, that I'm super excited about once we reveal it to you guys. But yeah, I think right now I'd say 18 is my favorite. I usually don't like to talk about that until the game starts settling a little bit. We're still making some pretty big changes, tuning changes, so I couldn't say yet that the game has settled into its identity. But I've never had more fun playing Madden than I am this year, especially on competitive game style.
Hey, last year we had a private beta, right, which I was lucky enough to be one of the few to be able to participate. Would you guys ever consider something like an open beta with like a pre-order, kind of like how Call of Duty does? Is that something that you think can be done? Because I think if we have like a special pre-order type of beta, like Call of Duty, if you pre-order it, you know, you get a code for maybe like a week or two, stuff like that. Is that something you think you guys can ever possibly do?
Yeah. This year, like last year when we did the closed beta to a few individuals, this year what happened is because of Frostbite, and because this being an engine port year, things have gotten more compressed at the back end than they normally would be. So it's sort of impacting our finaling and shipping date, which kind of means what that means is we can't do a beta this year like we would normally do, or a closed beta this year. Our best bet is probably getting some early copies out to you guys, but it won't be a full beta this year, mainly just because of the Frostbite port.
But you think maybe like next year? Because I think that's a good idea, because like the Call of Duty, they get, you know, their hands on a few weeks early, and then they can report back to, instead of doing, you know, a closed beta or just giving it to people like, you know, not to name it, just a handful of like really good players and stuff like that, you know, a pre-order open beta, which I think would be an awesome idea.
Great idea.
And I also tell them Rex, the ice to kick right there. Tell them where you got that from. Tell them where you got the ice to kick right there from.
I got it from you.
And you had touched on, you had said, you know what, that was a good idea, because I said about Madden 14, like, you know, I haven't touched special teams since you got in. And the kick meter I like, because people are actually missing field goals. Look at Goose. Look at Goose Madden. This man can't make a field goal to save his life. People are actually missing field goals, and little changes like that are I love to see little things like that. And I think that, you know, there's a lot of things that can be taken from NCAA. You don't see yourself going back and picking some things up from that game? That was a great game.
Like coach adjustments?
That was a great game. I'm talking about like when we were in the chat and me and Wiza were talking. It was just like, now I know you had said that that's a big emphasis of college, right? The stadiums, the noise, the crowd and stuff like that. But would that ever be in like affect Madden? Because like when you go to like Seattle and you playing that 12 minutes, it should be loud. You should be able to get a false start every now and then when you're trying to make a hot route. Your receiver can't hear you because it's so damn loud. It happens in real life. We need stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, we have a whole presentation division who you know, we do sights and sounds. I actually have a huge idea, which I can't talk about, which is all about on-the-field presentation and kind of like, you know, driving more emotion into the game through like post-play celebrations and taunting and stuff like that. Obviously, the new celebration rules will open things up for us a little bit. I would say that's coming in the next 2 to 3 years, mainly because a lot of the people who work on that kind of stuff are currently working on one of those big new mode stories for this year.
Okay, last but not least, before we let you go, and I definitely appreciate your time, there's a story going around that you and T-Raw were in the same vicinity you guys were supposed to play. You went to go see T-Raw with the controller in your hand, and he ducked you, Rex. Is this true or false?
Completely true.
Tell him, Rex. They sleeping on you. T-Raw ducked you. You said you found him with the controller in your hand, and he didn't want none of you, man.
No, he said he was going to play lights instead, and then he didn't even end up playing that game. And he never played me because when we were at home at my place, and I was like, hey, let's stream on your channel. And he's like, sweet, let's do it. And I'm like, all right, let's lock up. And he's like, oh, I got a better idea. Why don't we just co-op and go every other drive back and forth? And I was like, why would you want to do that? Like, don't you want to play me? And he's like, oh, I think it'd be funnier this way. So I think he's just afraid to play me And I think we'll just have to go with that.
I think he's afraid to play you too. I mean, you say you went to go see the man with the controller in your hand, and he's ducking you. It sounds like if it smells like a duck, talks like a duck. Tell him what it is, Rex.
It's a duck.
It's a duck.
What? GS, I gotta tell you something, man. All duckiness, quacks, and feathers aside, this man is finding some exploits from hell. And we're getting some shit fixed that definitely would have gotten out in the wild if I didn't bring him in here. So, with all due respect to the duck,
That's what
up here, and he's making the community proud. He's finding great bugs. He's kind of contributing at a very high level here to Madden 18. And I hope you all drop some respect on his name because he's killing it.
Oh, that was a great pickup because T-Raw will sit and just practice. Like back in the day when I first met him, I've never been a defensive guy. I've always been heavily offensively, and he would just sit here and the things he comes up with, like baseline this guy, spy this guy, put this guy in an isosceles triangle, and the big gap is coming in. I'm like, it's not going to work. I do it in a work. How do you find things like that? That was a very good pickup from you guys, man. And
yes,
you said you had something to do with that personally?
Yes, sir.
That's why you are a man of honor, a man of respect, man. I appreciate your time. And tell Oldenburg, when I see him, I'm lining up in front of him, and he gonna get this work. 5 times, I'm getting by him all 5 times, Rex. I'm hitting him with the Puerto Rican swim move. He ain't gonna be able to stop me.
Shout out to everyone in the chat. Thanks for coming by. GS, I love you, man. Keep doing what you do.
Appreciate it. Any final words before we head on out? Oh, I guess that was the final words. He just bounced. Hopefully you guys enjoyed me. That was his final words. I guess I should have said that before he said that.
All right, y'all. So that was an interview that was actually live that just went on there between Rex Dickson, and I would take it that that the other gentleman was a EA game changer. If you joined the stream late, basically what went on or perspired in that was they talked about when I tuned in, they was talking about Madden Ultimate Team. So they are expecting some huge changes to Madden Ultimate Team. They are expecting some huge changes to Madden Ultimate Team. Also, juke moves are fixed. Yes, that is something huge to us. That they're fixing juke moves in the game, so that's a cool thing. He also did allude to presentation there at the end, but he said that some of that stuff is like 2 to 3 years out, especially with the changes in NFL celebrations. He said stuff about players playing like emotions and stuff like that, affecting the game and stuff like that. So with that being said, I don't expect big changes to presentation this year. But they are definitely working on it. He said that those guys are, y'all gotta excuse the hair, man, rough. He said that those guys that are set for presentation, I guess they pretty much have the presentation stuff done and they're assisting on other modes. He did mention story mode. He didn't go into detail about it, but the way that they're working on it looks like story mode is going to be a pretty huge mode. He called it mode story, but it's story mode. Also, he talked about the different modes. You know, you have arcade mode, you have, I think, simulation, and then you have competitive. If I'm not mistaken, I may be messed up on the simulation one. But anyway, the simulation, the competitive mode basically is it's going to be a lot harder. Like if you ever play those games online and you're like, wow, the computer really helped you out with that play or this or that. Competitive mode is going to fix a lot of those issues. Also, they're making it easier to play like how I used to do on college. I played in the secondary. I played on the safety or something like that. It's really hard to do that on Madden nowadays. You still can, but it's a little bit harder if you're used to doing it on college. That's why I play on the D line. He said that this is the year of the user. So with it being the year of the user, then he's saying that basically the game is really in your control. Like essentially what he was saying is like long gone are the days where, you know, you were clicked on a player and there was just computer error. Basically, if you're in a position to make a play and you don't make that play, it's on you, because they're giving you pretty much total control over the players. Another thing that I'm happy about that actually happened to me today while I was streaming,
I had a wide receiver get caught from behind by a defensive end. Like, really? Or a D tackle. He said those days are gone. And the guy that was interviewing him alluded to, he used the term, he said, so if a player with 91 speed is not going to get caught from behind by a player with 83 speed. And he said that is correct. He didn't even hesitate on that. So that's awesome. So speed is going to play a factor in the game as well. All in all, y'all, it seemed like a pretty good interview. I know he couldn't give out too much information. He didn't talk about story mode in detail, but he did say that it was pretty huge. So I'm interested in that. He did talk about, didn't talk about franchise mode, didn't really talk about any kind of career mode. He didn't hint at anything like that. The main talks were really like Ultimate Team and how they're improving that, which, you know, that's their cash cow. So of course they're going to focus on that. Also, as far as like our channel is concerned and me trying to be an EA game changer one day, I heard a lot of stuff that lets me know that we are on the right track, because even playing with the younger guys on the channel, I'm doing some of that same stuff. And I never knew that's kind of the stuff that they look for. But I do, you know, playing like today, playing with Daniel and stuff and telling the kids, you know, to make sure they're doing their grades, make sure they're taking care of business and stuff like that. That lets me know that I'm on the right track in that regard. And just to keep doing what I'm doing, it was actually quite motivational in a way. But it also is even more motivating because I feel like if I can get to that level, then I can have some input as to how Madden is made. The guy in the interview was talking about the run. He wants them to improve the run and stuff like that. And, you know, he said that they're definitely improving the run game as far as the jukes and stuff like that. Also, the backfield tackles, like when the defensive lineman breaks, you know, as soon as you get the ball and the defensive lineman comes in and makes a play on the ball, you don't even have a chance to make a move as a running back. Those things are going to change as well. And that's what we kind of seen in the trailer a little bit. So all in all, y'all, some really good information there. Like I said, I got into it late and I apologize for that. But as soon as I saw it, I said, I got to find a way to get this out to the audience. So don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to follow us on Twitch. It's www.twitch.tv/dmgaming06. That name up there at the top. Follow us on Twitch because I am going to begin to stream on Twitch as well. But like I said, I'm keeping my ear to the ground for more information. As soon as I get it, it's going to be out there to y'all. So that's all I got for right now. Till next time, and God bless.